wanted to, we always want to be talking about the future of media and entertainment. That's what we write about, and how technology is impacting that. So I asked Shelley to help me put together a bunch of smart women, and she did. Thanks. To talk, super smart women to talk about stuff that I don't know about. So we're just going to kick it off. We're just going to have kind of a freewheeling conversation. I don't know anybody here except for Shelley. Anybody throw it out there. Where's content going? How are we going to create authentic content on what platforms?
Sure. I grew up, I was chief creative officer at Microsoft for a long time. I kind of grew up in early internet age. And one of the things I think is sort of most fascinating and depressing about content today is as everyone was able to create content, it was this amazing world. And as marketers, we started creating insane amounts of content. Right? And so we just keep putting more and more and more and more content out there. And what's actually happened is the human attention span in the year 2000 was 12 seconds. And today it's 8 seconds. And the attention span of a goldfish is 9. Okay? So it's insane, right? So we don't stop, particularly marketers, right? There's zero restraint as marketers. It's like our worst thing. So we're creating more content and we're making it shorter.
I think that's a really great point, and what's interesting, I think, about the millennial generation, and just anybody who's sort of immersed in media these days, is that there's so much more meta-awareness. So that maybe one of the reasons that storytelling is shortening is because we are bringing our own knowledge to the story. So that if you see a meme, like memes require that you have an additional extra knowledge of what's going on. You have to begin understanding the joke. And so I think that may be one of the reasons why we're seeing these, Snapchat or snapshot storytelling, is because everybody's getting more efficient about it. But I also think that the millennial generation is the generation that was raised on Harry Potter.
And I think when we think about millennials, I think this is important for brands to understand. So, when we think about those millennials who are Snapchatting and whatnot, I think you even have to draw a little bit even deeper, because that purest piece of it for them is about experiencing the story. So it isn't just about the storytelling. That's a very traditional way of looking at technology from a brand's perspective, and how we probably consult with brands. But for millennials, they're really looking to experience the story and make it their own. We think about how they're consuming it. Even more importantly, the closer and closer it gets to our bodies. Let's take a look at this is the next piece. Whether it's wearables and the Internet of Things, how we're going to be producing stories in a way that allows them to experience it and then take it and make it their own.
Well, I think, too, there's a really interesting trend going on that it's not just us as marketers that need to create content. I mean, now content can be created by anyone. It is literally democratized. And that means that we, as marketers, can also encourage conversation from a very wide array of contributors and be able to bring that to a targeted audience, which I think is fascinating. It means we can farm really great stories no matter where they come from, whether we're the creators or we're helping encourage that from others.
So Shelley, talk about what you've done, because it seems cognate with sort of my own frustration in the entertainment industry of like, I know amazing women, how come they're not turning out? But Shelley's done something remarkably similar in the marketing world.
Yeah, well, I like the list, so let's talk after. I think it's really important. And one of the things that I say all the time is there's power in the pack. And if we could have done it alone, we would have by now. And how important doing this together is. And also, it's what Helen said, it's not talking about what the problems are and what we need to do, it's actually doing something about it. And we're pretty good at getting shit done. We really are. And this weekend I was on tour with the White House and the VA, and we're working with vets on a make-a-thon, really about assisted technology for prosthetics. And so I said, well, what about focusing on female vets? We've really never talked about the utilities the same for male and female prosthetics, but accessories and fashion and design needs are so incredibly different for women, especially to live confidently. So let's focus on, the female vets. And so we raised awareness and visibility for, really customizing, using technology as an enabler to customize and personalize prosthetics for women.
I think there's something really to that, and I think that one of whether as we think about as technology companies, for those of us that are sitting up here as technology companies, that it isn't just about the content, but we need to utilize our technology platforms as a means for the change. I think there's a real opportunity here that sometimes we miss, in utilizing technology to be the catalyst to act with conviction. And I think that we have an opportunity to do that in business, in both social circles, as well as within the realm of creativity and artistry.
I just want to touch on the power thing, because that was the first time it was mentioned on this panel, and the conference is called Power Women, and the rap originates in the entertainment industry, and hello, power. So, but I think that the notion of owning your power, acknowledging it, acknowledging the power of other women, and acknowledging the sort of shell game of who gets to wield power is really important. It's taken me a really long time to sort of imagine myself powerful, and even sort of moving into this industry, the feminism industry. I did that late in life. I was sort of 30, 35 before I felt comfortable calling myself a feminist, and I'm still figuring out all of the ways in which I undercut my own power all the time. It's definitely a ongoing process, and I think it's important to stop and say, and look at yourself and say, how am I giving up my power? What power should I be taking? Like if I were a man, what would I be doing? Would I be having this reaction, or would I be like swinging it around? And then, so I often try to literally, sorry, but it's true, I try to literally like imagine myself, okay, like swing it around. And it does help, because I don't have the option anymore to be a shrinking violet or to let opportunities pass me by. Now not only do I have to provide for an actual child, but I have to be a role model for her. That's hard.
Amen. Fantastic. We got to leave it there. Thank you guys so much. My powerful women, thank you.